President Trump's poll numbers surge past Obama's as the Biden campaign begins to implode. In this video, we're going to take a look at the current state of the polls, how Joe Biden's campaign really is collapsing, and how President Trump is poised for a solid victory come November. You're not going to want to miss this. Greetings, everyone, patriots across the globe. Dr. Steve here with you. I hope you're having a wonderful start to your weekend. Great to be with you as always. If this is your first time here on this channel, a very warm welcome to you. We post 2 videos a day, analyze the current events, analyze some super awesome conservative trends so that you can live in the present in line of even better things to come. So if you haven't already done so, make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. We'd love to have you as a regular part of this channel where each and every day we together have the privilege of celebrating the inevitable collapse of left-wing globalism and the unstoppable rise of a new conservative age. Now, before we dive into things here, let's give a huge shout out to the sponsor of this video, and that's the makers of this mega antioxidant called ESS60. It's actually being called a miracle molecule because people sleep better and they enjoy more energy and mental focus with a simple spoonful in the morning. You can actually mix it into your salad, you can rub it on a steak, or even dip your bread in it. It comes with 3 delicious organic oils, and it actually delivers more than 172 times the power of vitamin C. And to make it even better, if you click on that link below today, you get $10 off the regular price. So don't wait. Click on that link below or go to C60perfect.com and get your ESS60 oil direct from the lab today. All right, guys, so let's dive right in here. Now, I know a lot of you have been concerned about Trump's re-election chances. You've been looking at the polls, most of which we forget have been conducted either directly by the mainstream Marxist media or they were commissioned by them. You're looking at these polls, and then you're listening to these pathetic, pessimistic, conservative voices and the alt media are all down in the dumps about COVID and how it's all part of a Democratic plot to destroy the economy. And it's working. The economy is in shambles and Portland was a trap for the president that he fell into. And there's no way he's going to win. And not if, but when Joe Biden wins, it's the end of the country. Conservatism is wiped out of existence. Does that sound familiar? Well, if it does, enough. Walk away from all of that complete and total nonsense. Enough. We should have our own walk away movement, right? First and foremost, walk away from the dishonest and corrupt mainstream Marxist media. They do not believe in truth. For them, truth is power. Truth is whatever empowers them in their leftist Marxist agenda and whatever disempowers and discourages the growing nationalist populist movement here in the United States, throughout Europe, throughout the entire world. So don't listen to them. You literally have to approach CNN and MSNBC and the New York Times, and yes, even Fox News, at least the Chris Wallace wing of Fox News, which is every bit as globalist as CNN and MSNBC. They don't believe in truth. So there's no point in relying on them for an accurate assessment of what's going on in the world. So walk away from the mainstream Marxist media and walk away from the chicken little conservative pundits out there in our alt media that's telling you to build your bunkers, all is lost, Texas is going blue, and blah, 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 all right? And why are they saying these things? Because number one, they're listening to mainstream Marxist media and treating the fake news as if it were real, right? So just, walk away from that for heaven's sake. Look, here's what's really going on. As we speak, President Trump's poll numbers are surging while Biden's campaign is collapsing, all right? So let's look at some of these poll numbers. Rasmussen, who tracks the daily approval numbers for presidents, so as to be able to compare them as to where they were or are in their respective presidencies, Rasmussen has Trump polling at 50% approval today, which is 3 points higher than where Obama was polling at this same time in his presidency. Now, of course, this is all the more stunning given the months of COVID shutdown, the economic downturn that came as a result, the mass race riots throughout the nation. Let's not forget impeachment, the Democrats impeaching our president. And then on top of all of that, you have 90 to 95% negative reporting against our president by the mainstream Marxist media, the left-wing activists disguised as journalists. I hate to even call it reporting. The Media Research Center conducted a study that found that 92% of the media's coverage of President Trump was decisively negative, which is the mirror opposite of what Obama received in the glowing and fawning coverage from a media that absolutely adored him. I will never forget when a former Newsweek editor was being interviewed on MSNBC by Chris Matthews, right, the now disgraced and defunct political pundit who got fired from MSNBC because he got Me Too'd. But this guy from Newsweek actually went so far as to compare Obama with God. He said if Reagan was all about America, then for Obama, we're all above that now. He's standing above our country. And I kid you not, he actually said this. Obama stood above the country, above the world, so he's sort of like God. I mean, what do you even say to such absurdity like that? I mean, that's globalism for you. So despite all of these setbacks, despite impeachment, corona, recession, race riots, 24/7 mainstream Marxist media, 92% negative coverage, all that, Trump is beating Obama. Did you see the focus group research that recently came out? It was amazing. It came out this week. And if you could believe it, even CNN was reporting on it. Rich Thaw of the focus research group Engage Us has found that upwards of 75% of the focus groups that he's personally interviewed in swing states such as Wisconsin, Iowa, Michigan, Pennsylvania, all said they were voting for Trump over Biden. In fact, when he gave them a choice between Trump and Obama, now keep in mind, these were voters. They're swing voters, so they voted for Obama twice, but then they turned around and voted for Trump. When they were given the choice between Obama and Trump, a full 75% went with Trump. It was an amazing focus group study that's able to cut through a lot of the fog of the polls that I think just jumble people together and the way pollsters deem, fit. But here are people who voted for Obama and then turned and voted for Trump. And then when given the choice, they go overwhelmingly with Trump over Obama. Forget Biden. They had voted for Trump as a disruptor. He gave them that. They're happy with him. Trump didn't campaign in one way and then become a completely different person once sworn into office. Right? Hello, George W. Bush. So this is really, really fascinating stuff. Now, this is all happening at the same time that the aggregate polling for Trump has begun to go up. Now, Styx Hexenhammer has done some great analysis on this in one of his videos today you want to check out. Trump is at 43% with the Real Clear Politics aggregate polling, which is up from last year when he was averaging about 40%. So he's just 3% away from the magic 46 aggregate polling, which you need to win, which as we get closer to the election, we can be very confident in predicting that he most certainly will do. So the individual polling, comparing where he is in relation to Obama at the same time in his respective presidency, is up, and his average aggregate polling is up. So why the pessimism, by the way, right? Don't forget, outrage porn sells. Outrage porn is the best clickbait. This is where I have absolutely no respect whatsoever for these build your bunker so-called conservatives on all tech, all weeping and gnashing their teeth that the world is falling apart and finding one new conspiracy after another. We can fully expect that Trump's poll numbers are going to continue to rise the closer we get to November, so much so that I think we'll be rather clear that Biden doesn't have a chance. Now, speaking of Biden, where is he? Where is this great, glorious hope of the Democratic Party? Where is he? Where is this guy with the supposed 14-point lead over Trump? What a fallacy. He's in his basement. He's hiding in his basement because his team knows that he's a disaster. He's too physically weak to travel. He's too cognitively declined to think on his feet and take questions from the media. He's a joke. And the Democrats know it. And many of them are very, very panicked about it. They saw a recent Zogby poll that asked over 1,000 of likely voters, do you believe that Joe Biden, the presumed Democratic Party nominee, do you believe that Biden is in the early stages of dementia? Did you see this? A solid majority of Americans do, in fact, believe that Joe Biden is in the early stages of dementia. Young people, too, they were particularly concerned about this. 60% of voters between the ages of 18 and 26 believe Biden exhibits early onset dementia. And to make matters even worse, Democrat pollsters, the more honest ones, they're admitting that the party is indeed fracturing. It's in disarray. Again, you'll never hear this from the left-wing activists disguised as journalists at CNN or MSNBC or the New York Times. But the Democratic pollster, Doug Schoen, recognizes that the primaries that we've seen over the last several months, they've revealed that the Democrats are deeply divided, which is making any chance of them winning the White House even more remote than ever. What's going on is that the Democrats are actually having trouble mobilizing their base. Again, this is something that opinion polls simply can't capture in their results. What we are seeing is that the Democrats are suffering from a horrific enthusiasm gap. Trump has an astonishing 19-point advantage in voter enthusiasm over Biden. He crushes Biden 64% to 45%. And it gets even worse than that. According to Scott Rasmussen's polling, the most recent polling he's done on this, things are so bad for this presumptive Democratic nominee that 1 in 3 Democrats want Biden replaced with a new candidate. And what we saw in the primaries of the last several months is not just a party that's having a hard time actually mobilizing their base, but when they do show up to vote, the results indicate a party deeply divided. In several U.S. House and Senate Democratic primaries held just back in June, progressive challengers either defeated or came close to nearly defeating their well-funded establishment opponents. And the primaries in July were no exception. The far left insurgency is causing fractures within the Democratic Party as well as the nation as a whole. And it's causing the Democratic Party to embrace radical left-wing policies just to appease them. Biden is already actually saying that police have become, quote, the enemy, which, of course, the Trump campaign is having a delightful time exploiting. And Schoen notes that this lurch to the left by the Democrats will almost certainly cost them the presidency, the Senate, and he thinks perhaps even the current House majority. Would that not be wonderful? Pundits have already been saying that the House is up for grabs, and a further lurch to the left by the Democrats may be all that's needed for the GOP to retake control. So all in all, President Trump is surging in the polls. All the while, Biden's campaign really is imploding down into the basement. Now, before you go, you definitely want to check out my latest video I just uploaded on the new bombshell documents revealing that Bill Clinton did, in fact, stay at Jeffrey Epstein's notorious island with 2 young girls. And we look at why the depravity of our ruling political elite is fueling a populist revolt all over the world. You're not going to want to miss this. So make sure to click on the link, and I will see you over there. God bless.